Welcome back to Reboot with Reygan. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the video and be sure to stick around until the end because I have a self-guided hypnotic process that I'm going to walk you through. In this video, we're going to talk about healing the subconscious blocks to union for twin flames. When the connection is divinely orchestrated, the work is not about creating union, it's clearing what stands in the way of experiencing it. What if the reason you're experiencing separation from your twin isn't because the connection isn't real? What if it isn't because the love isn't there? What if the separation is actually revealing everything within you that still believes you have to live from fear, lack, abandonment, control, unworthiness, or separation? Within the twin flame dynamic, we aren't talking about an ordinary relationship. We're talking about a divinely orchestrated process of remembering, awakening, healing, and ultimately coming back into union. And when both twins have incarnated in the same lifetime, union is inevitable. The question isn't, how do I make union happen? The deeper question is, what within me is still aligned with separation? Because if union is the destination, then the work isn't about creating the destination. The work is about clearing the path. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the twin flame journey is separation. We experience the physical distance and immediately interpret it through the human mind. They're gone. They don't love me. It's over. They chose someone else. I'm never going to see them again. Maybe I imagined everything. But what if those interpretations are precisely what we're being asked to heal? Because the twin flame journey can bring every unconscious belief about love, worthiness, abandonment, rejection, safety, control, trust, and separation directly to the surface. The connection becomes the mirror, not necessarily because your twin is consciously trying to mirror you, but because the intensity of the connection can expose the places within you that haven't yet experienced wholeness. Let's take a very simple example. You consciously know my twin loves me, but somewhere underneath that conscious knowing is I'm going to be abandoned, or I'm not enough, or I have to chase love. If I stop trying, I'll lose everything. Or perhaps the deepest one, I am separate from what I desire. Now you've got two programs operating simultaneously. Your conscious mind says union, your subconscious mind says separation. And that internal contradiction can create tremendous emotional and somatic resistance. Your subconscious mind is full of learned associations. It learned what love meant, what abandonment meant, what safety meant, what rejection meant. It learned whether closeness was safe. It learned whether vulnerability was dangerous. It learned whether receiving was comfortable. And many of these programs were formed long before you met your twin. So when the twin flame connection arrives, it doesn't just bring love to the surface. It can activate everything that isn't yet healed around love. Suddenly you're experiencing enormous longing, fear, obsession, anxiety, grief, surrender, desire, hope, anger. And beneath all of these emotions may be an old subconscious programming saying, this isn't safe. You're going to lose them. You have to do something. You're not worthy. You aren't complete without them. Let's take the idea of the chaser. We often think the chaser is simply chasing the other person, but go underneath that. What if the chaser is actually chasing certainty? What if they're chasing reassurance, validation? What if they're trying to make the external world prove what they already know internally? Tell me this is real. Tell me you love me. Tell me you're coming back. Give me something I can hold on to. And underneath all of that might be, I don't trust that I'm safe unless I can see the evidence. That's the belief to heal. And then we have what is commonly called the runner. From the outside, it can look like they don't want this. They're rejecting me. They're running away. But within the twin flame framework, we can understand the running differently. The connection may be activating an enormous amount of subconscious material. Intimacy can bring vulnerability. Vulnerability can activate fear. Being deeply seen can activate shame. Surrender can activate the need for control. And the human personality may attempt to escape the intensity. So the runner may not simply be running from the twin. They may be running from everything the connection is awakening within them. And that is why the work isn't about chasing the runner. The work is healing the pattern that makes separation necessary for the healing process. I want to talk with you right now about the biggest block identification with separation. One of the deepest subconscious programs is simply, we are separate. I am here, my twin is there, I am missing something, something is outside of me, something has to happen before I can be whole. And that belief can become so deeply embedded that the person begins organizing their entire emotional reality around the absence. They wake up thinking about separation. They go to sleep thinking about separation. They interpret signs through separation. They measure time through separation. They measure their worth through separation. And eventually, separation becomes an identity. That's the program that has to be interrupted. Here's the shift I want you to understand. If this connection is divinely orchestrated, then you don't have to create union. You don't have to force union. You don't have to manipulate circumstances. You don't have to convince your twin. You don't have to energetically chase. Your work is preparation. Your work is healing. Your work is remembering who you are underneath the conditioning. Your work is releasing the beliefs that tell you, I'm not worthy, I'm abandoned, I'm separate, I have to chase, I'm out of control, or I have to make it happen. Because if union is already part of the divine orchestration, then fear isn't creating the destiny. Fear is simply creating resistance to the experience of it. Let me say that again. Because if union is already part of the divine orchestration, then fear isn't creating the destiny. Fear is simply creating resistance to the experience of it. So the pattern under the pattern. So instead of asking, why hasn't my twin come back? Ask, what is this separation showing me? What does it activate? What am I afraid of? What am I believing? What am I trying to control? What am I trying to prove? What am I afraid will happen if I surrender? What would I have to believe about myself for separation to feel unbearable? And perhaps the most important question, what version of me believes that I am separate from what I am meant to experience? Because perhaps you aren't broken. Perhaps you're simply running an old program, a program written by an older version of you, a version of you that learned love means abandonment, love means chasing, love means uncertainty, love means proving yourself, love means losing yourself, love means pain. And now you're being asked, does that program still belong to you? Is that really who you are? Or is it simply what you learned? Because healing isn't always about creating something new. Sometimes it's about removing what was never truly you. Thanks so much for sticking around. Now we're going to go into the self-guided hypnotic process, the union clearing. Now I want to guide you through a short process that you can practice yourself. Don't do this while you're driving or doing anything that requires your attention. And if anything feels overwhelming, stop, open your eyes, look around the room, and orient yourself to the present moment. You're safe here. This isn't about forcing anything. It's about listening inwardly. Step 1, arrive. So I want you to sit comfortably, let your feet connect with the floor, allow your hands to rest naturally. Take a slow, comfortable breath and simply say internally, I am here. Again, I am here. Feel the body you're in. Feel the surface beneath you. Notice your breathing and allow yourself to become present. If your mind begins to race, just take a few calming deep breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. The exhale should be a little longer than the inhale. Step 2, connect with the desire for union. Now that you're relaxed, allow yourself to bring your twin to mind. You don't need to force a picture. Simply allow the awareness of that person to arise. Notice what happens in your body. Notice your heart, your chest, your stomach. Notice your throat. Now bring your awareness back to your breathing. Take a few more deep breaths and then simply observe. What happens inside me when I think about union? And then pause. And now ask, what happens inside me when I think about separation? Notice the difference. Step 3, find the fear. Now gently ask yourself, what am I afraid separation means? Don't analyze it, just allow the first answer to arise. Maybe I'm not enough. I'm losing them. I'm being rejected. I'm alone. I'll never have this. I have to do something. Whatever it is, whatever comes up, don't judge it. You're simply finding the program. Step 4, find an even older program. Now ask, when have I felt this before? You don't need to search. Allow your subconscious mind to bring forward whatever memory, age, image, sensation, or understanding is appropriate. Perhaps it's connected to childhood or another relationship. Perhaps it's an experience where you felt abandoned, rejected, unseen, powerless, or unsafe. Whatever comes forward, simply notice. This is where my mind learned this pattern. Step 5, meet the older version of you. Now imagine yourself standing before the earlier version of you. Look at them. Notice what they needed. What were they trying to understand? What were they trying to protect themselves from? And now allow the version of you that exists today to approach them. You know things now that you didn't know then. You have survived things. You've grown. You've learned. And tell that younger version, you don't have to carry this anymore. You don't have to chase love. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to prove your worth. You are already worthy. You are not abandoned. You are not alone. You belong to yourself. Now, step 6, release the separation program. Now imagine that old belief as an old program. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can feel it. Maybe you simply know what it is. And ask, what was this program trying to protect me from? And give it a moment. What was this program trying to protect me from? And then when you're ready, thank you. You've helped me survive what I didn't know how to process. But I don't need you to run my life anymore. And imagine releasing it. You don't have to destroy it. You don't have to fight it. Simply allow the outdated program to become less important. Step 7, install the union program. Now breathe. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. The exhale should be slightly longer than the inhale. And allow a new internal understanding to form. Repeat slowly. I am whole. I am worthy of love. I am safe within myself. I don't have to chase what is already aligned for me. I release the need to control the path. I trust the divine timing of my journey. I am available for love. I am available for healthy union. I allow myself to receive. I release the identity of separation. And now I am becoming the version of myself capable of fully receiving the union I am destined to experience. And we'll repeat that one 2 more times. I am becoming the version of myself capable of fully receiving the union I am destined to experience. I am worthy. I am becoming the version of myself capable of fully receiving the union I am destined to experience. Step 8, the future pace the union. Now imagine yourself standing in front of the future version of you who has completed this healing. Notice how they carry themselves. Notice their body, their breathing, their energy, their confidence, their ability to receive, their ability to love without fear, their ability to remain grounded and ask, what do I have to release to become you? And listen and ask, what did I have to learn? And finally, what does union feel like from a healed version of me? Don't force an answer, simply experience whatever comes. Step 9, create your anchor. Choose a simple physical gesture. Place your hand over your heart or gently press your feet into the floor or touch your thumb and your finger together. And as you do, say, I trust, I receive, I am whole, I am ready. Allow that physical gesture to become your reminder. Whenever fear of separation arises, return to your anchor, not to force union, but to return yourself to alignment. Step 10, return. Take a comfortable breath. Inhale through your nose deeply. Exhale through your mouth, making the exhale a little bit slightly longer than the inhale. Feel your feet. Feel the surface beneath you. Notice the room around you. Notice the sounds. Notice the present moment and remind yourself, I don't have to figure everything out today. My work is to heal, to become clear, to receive. My work is to become who I came here to be. Open your eyes. So when we talk about clearing blocks to twin flame union, we're not talking about manipulating the universe. We're not talking about forcing another person. We're not talking about obsessively monitoring signs. We're talking about removing the internal conditioning that keeps you identified with separation. Conditioning like fear, lack, unworthiness, abandonment, control, chasing, resistance to receiving, fear of vulnerability, fear of intimacy, and the belief that something outside of you has to change before you can finally become whole. And this is exactly where deeper subconscious work can become powerful. Because knowing that you have a limiting belief and actually changing the automatic pattern underneath it are two different things. You can consciously know I am worthy while your subconscious still expects rejection. You can consciously know I trust the process while your body is still operating from fear. You can consciously know union is inevitable while another part of you is still desperately trying to control when and how it happens. That's the difference between understanding a belief and actually changing the pattern. And that's where hypnosis can help you access the deeper layers of the mind where those associations are operating. We can look at the pattern underneath the pattern. We can identify the older program, understand what it was designed to do, determine whether it still serves the person you've become, and then begin creating a different internal response. So if you're walking through a twin flame separation right now, perhaps instead of asking, why isn't my twin here? Ask, what is this experience asking me to heal? Instead of, when will they come back? Ask, who am I becoming while I prepare for union? Instead of, what do I need to do to make this happen? Ask, what am I still carrying that no longer belongs to me? Because if you believe this journey is divinely orchestrated, then you don't have to spend your life trying to force the destination. You can do the work, heal the conditioning, release the fear, reclaim your wholeness, learn to receive, regulate your body and your nervous system, release the identity of separation, and become the version of yourself capable of fully experiencing what you've been asking for. The goal isn't to chase union. The goal is to become clear enough to receive it. And if you want to explore this work more deeply, check the description box below for information about working with me through an individualized hypnosis session. Every person carries different subconscious conditioning, which means the therapeutic process may look different for each individual. We find the pattern underneath your pattern. We identify the program. We work with what your subconscious is actually holding, and we begin the process of rebooting it. I'm Reygan. This is Reboot with Reygan, Mental Aspects. Heal the pattern, clear the conditioning, reclaim yourself, and become ready to receive the life and the union you were always meant to experience. Thank you for watching until the end. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement on this channel helps others to find its content for their own benefit, all part of the collective healing efforts across the globe. Namaste, namasko.